Every morning, my computer and phone has a brief waiting for me. It can now be written overnight by an AI model that doesn't belong to OpenAI or Anthropic. I'm not running it on my own hardware yet, and I'm not going to pretend that this is free, but I am no longer dependent upon the two frontier AI companies' AI models. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how I built that live using nothing but a prompt. Just a quick recap for anyone new here. A few videos ago, I made the case for going local and open source instead of renting your intelligence from a frontier lab that can change the rules on you overnight. Local hardware is the end goal, but most people, me included right now, we're not quite there yet. Good news, you don't need your own GPU rig to get out from total dependence on a handful of companies. Today, I'm going to show you how I've connected Qwen 3.7, an open source model, to Hermes using OpenRouter. So this is still cloud-based hosting, so I am paying for API calls that I make. There's no subscription though, and no dependence on any single lab's model, pricing, or policy. So then later in the video, I'm going to show you the real unlock. A prompting method called crit that lets you get an insane amount of personal value out of any model, even if you don't have years of notes for it to read stored away. Let me break down the pieces. Hermes is the agent, the thing that actually does work, schedules tasks, takes action, and doesn't just chat with you. It can be thought of as being the arms and legs of your agent, the entire body of your agent, except for the brain. Now, OpenRouter, on the other hand, is an LLM AI consolidator. You get one API key that gives you access to dozens of open source models hosted in the cloud, priced per use. And Qwen 3.7 is the model itself, the brain of the AI agent, which is fully open source and definitely capable. But here's the honest part. This isn't free. I'm paying OpenRouter for every token that the model processes. So what I'm not paying is a flat monthly fee to one company, and I'm not locked into one model. If a better open source model drops next month, I switch the drop-down menu that I'm running within Hermes to that new model. And I'll go ahead and show you that a little bit later in the video. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go to openrouter.ai and click the sign up button in the upper right hand corner. You'll simply choose exactly how you want to sign in, fill out these form fields right here, and then on the next page, you'll be given your API key that you can then plug into Hermes. Next, if you're within Hermes, within the Hermes desktop app, which is only available on Mac, what you'll want to do is create a new profile. So you'll look in the bottom left-hand corner, click the plus icon, and that will let you create a new profile. And you could just name this something like OpenRouter, and then go ahead and click the Create Profile button in the lower right-hand corner. All right, so we're here in this session. You want to start a new session in the upper left-hand corner. And by default, we're using the OpenAI Codex AI model. And if you followed along in the last video, then this is what you should be using as well. So at the very top of this chat window, I just said, I just created this new profile. How do I use OpenRouter? So ChatGPT through Hermes will give you these step-by-step directions. And if you're needing to run code, there's actually a very easy way to do that within Hermes now. If you look in the far left-hand corner at the bottom, you could click on Show Terminal. And this will allow you to open up a terminal directly within Hermes so that you have everything within the Hermes. So you could just copy and paste these commands here into the terminal and just follow along the instructions to get this set up. Now, I want to mention here that the instructions that are given might not immediately work the first time, but I encourage you to keep working with AI. If you get an error message, take a screenshot of that, put this into the chat, and let your AI model know exactly what happened. It'll keep giving you new suggestions, and eventually you'll find something that works. Once you get confirmation that Qwen is actually working, then you'll want to test it. You'll just come up here, click on New Session, and what I did here is I just asked, are you Qwen? And it responded. So it says it's Hermes agent, and the model powering the session is indeed Qwen 3.7. So it looks like we're good to go. What I've done now is created a new session, and if you look at this caret icon, I'm using Qwen 3.7. And what we'll do now is we'll go through the crit method, which stands for context, role, interview, and task, we'll go ahead and go through this whole process and generate an extremely useful personalized prompt for our morning brief. Now, this is extremely useful if you don't have years or months worth of notes in your Obsidian vault that basically tell AI everything that it needs to know about you. This is a quick way to get value from Hermes right away without all of that. So the first letter in CRIT is C, and this stands for context. Now for context, what you'll want to do is just brain dump everything that you could possibly think of about your life into this text field. I'll show you exactly what we do with that in the next section. We just submitted our first prompt. So for context, I just said, I am a vibe coder and I'm very interested in using AI tools. I'd like to offer AI solutions to small and medium-sized businesses. I'm looking to create a daily morning brief for myself. Don't do anything else until I tell you to. So the reason why I add this last line right here is so that it doesn't become too verbose. For models like ChatGPT models, they tend to give you an entire novel of text after you prompt it. So this is just one of the ways that I'm controlling that. Right now, we're not looking for responses from AI, especially not lengthy responses. We're trying to just give it context right now. So it went ahead and acknowledged what I said I'm a vibe coder and I want to offer solutions to small businesses. I want to write a daily morning brief. Won't take action until you tell me to. So this is exactly what we wanted to see. Now for this context prompt, obviously you want to include much more detailed information about yourself, but just for the sake of this video, I'm just keeping it short. The next step in the process is role. So this is where you have AI take on a very specific role in order to give you the best output possible. So what I love doing for this role step is doing reverse prompting. So what I wrote right here is give me a prompt for a role that you could take on that I could feed back to you that would allow you to create the most valuable daily brief for me possible. Now we have our output for roles. So this is the role that it came up with that I can feed back to this AI agent. So role, SMB AI Opportunity Compiler. You are my daily morning briefing analyst. Your job is not to summarize the internet, it's to hand me 3 to 5 actionable, vibe coder shippable AI opportunities that I can realistically package and sell to small to medium-sized businesses within 1 to 2 weeks of focused build time. So yeah, there's a lot of information here, and this is much better of a role to feed to AI than I could have ever written myself. So that is the power of reverse prompting. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click this copy button and we're going to paste it and have AI take on this role. Now we have our AI agent taking on this role of SMB AI Opportunity Compiler. The next step that we're moving on to is interview. And this is where you're allowing AI to actually extract more context out of you that you might not have included in your initial message up here. And it will pull information out of you that you did not even think to include and add that as context in order to complete whatever task you give it. So this is also an extremely powerful practice. And for this step, I'm just going to go ahead and paste this in. So we're going to give it this prompt. Now ask me 10 questions one at a time for me to answer that will give you more context about me to write my daily brief prompt. Here we have question 1, and it says, of the small to medium-sized businesses you already know or could reach out to in the next 30 days, which industry or niche do you have the most credibility in? Local service trades, dental offices, e-commerce shops, realtors, fitness studios, accounting firms, restaurants. So this is a really good question. I'm just going to go ahead and type none for now. So now it's asking about our comfort level with different tool stacks. I'm not going to go through every question in this video just because the questions will be different for you based off of the context that you gave it in your initial message. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to the task part as soon as I answer all these questions. Okay, so I went ahead and answered all 10 questions, and the questions that it asked were absolutely incredible, and it built a profile. So it's going to consider all of this information here and the daily brief prompt that it feeds me every single morning. So let's go ahead and move to the last step of the crit method. The last step of the crit method is T for task. So now here I'm just saying generate me a prompt that we can use for a daily brief. Now we have our prompt for our daily brief. So all we need to do is feedback this prompt into AI and tell it to actually schedule a cron job every single morning and use this prompt to generate the daily brief. So you can either do that just by typing it into this text box, and if there's any changes that you want to make, you could just tell it to make changes here and it'll give you a new brief that you can look at. That's basically all there is to it. Every new cron job that is created, you can also see in the bottom left-hand corner under where it says cron jobs. You can click that and be taken exactly to the cron job itself. So you could manage existing ones. So you could see what you have here, and you can also just manually add a brief as well. So you could give it a name and put the exact prompt that you want into here. And after you're done, just click on the Create Cron button. So that's the whole process. An open source model connected through Hermes, running a morning brief built in about 10 minutes. You don't need a local rig to get started, and you don't need months of notes either to generate a daily brief. You really only need an API key, Hermes, and the crit method. Or if you prefer to use a frontier lab model, you can just use your OAuth through ChatGPT or through Claude. Now, something that I just want to mention here is that these open source models do tend to be more prone to prompt injection. So you do want to be a little bit careful when you have it scouring the internet. Some people might choose to just stick with particular frontier models just for their morning brief, but other people might be totally comfortable using these open source models just pointed at their own folders, for example, within their Obsidian vault, and to run analysis on everything that's within the vault without having to even use the internet. So that is another use case for these open source models. So if this was useful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Drop a comment with what your morning brief covers. And if you try crit, tell me what question the interview asked that surprised you. All right, I'll see you in the next one.